What would I do differently, knowing what I know now, if I had to start all over again selling insurance? Greetings and salutations. My name is Dave Duford, owner of Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense, Medicare, and annuities, both face-to-face and over the phone. Thank you so much for being here. So the purpose of today's video is to give you my personal insight on what I would have done differently after acquiring all of this wisdom and knowledge and experience selling insurance. So I'm going to give you, looks like I'm going to list 5 things here I've laid out that I might possibly do a little bit differently if I had a second go at it with the accumulated knowledge that I have. And the reason I think this is an important video to watch is because it's my attempt to try to, look back at my past and the mistakes that I've made to help you avoid what I think are some of the biggest missed opportunities and mistakes I made early on, simply because of ignorance or ego or something else like that. First big thing, and this is probably the most challenging thing that I could have handled, was putting on blinders to everything else after I decided on what my focus was going to be in the insurance business. And frankly, this took me a long time. I am a half glass full kind of guy that sees opportunity in a lot of things. And this is a good instinct to have, but it also can be an impediment to any sort of mastery or a large level of success. You see, if you see everything as an opportunity, and if you can personally envision getting opportunity out of that, you start to lose focus on the one thing that you've decided to do. And incidentally, when you lose focus on the one big thing, you start performing less impressively, and you start to lose traction and become frustrated. For the longest time, I didn't know if I wanted to be a final expense professional or a final expense agent. It's peddling burial insurance, after all, right? We're not selling big, important people large and hugely beneficial commissions to us, right? We're selling salt-of-the-earth types of people. There's no sex appeal in burial insurance. And that kind of had me up for many years, in a sense, especially starting off, is that final expense to me was a gateway to doing bigger and better things, as opposed to a standalone product that could provide wonderfully for me in terms of a product sale opportunity. And when you're constantly surrounding yourself with social media, even my videos can be a problem, that tell you that there's some other great product or some other great lead source or some other great product carrier that you're not working, you're going to start to develop a sense of vulnerability, a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out. And that distracts you from the focus that's necessary to go all in, to triple down on the one big thing that makes a big difference. So for me, and this ultimately resulted, I think, in my failure, because I got away about a year in from the primary fundamentals of this final expense marketing system that we use, which led in part to my temporary demise, I thankfully can say. And of course, I want you to avoid that. So where am I going with this? This is going to be a highly personal thing. I don't know if what I'm talking about is unique to you, but I think it's worth considering. You got to start controlling what goes in your head. If you're always out there looking for the next best thing, you're just going to be like everybody else, because that's easy to do. What's hard to do is to say no to things that may be an opportunity, even if what you're doing doesn't necessarily seem to be the best idea. I mean, it sounds kind of strange. But the problem a lot of people have is they just can't discipline themselves to one thing. And they think they can be everything to everybody, and then they're nothing to nobody, because they never had the commensurate level of focus to exceed their skill set into a level of mastery. So find what you want to do in this business. And once you really think about it and you really believe it's right for you and you accept the good and the bad with it, put blinders on. Be fully committed to it. You will find in 3 to 5 years, you're going to be so far ahead of your peers who decided to kind of bounce around and do the next best thing that sounds good. It'll blow your mind. Number 2 thing I would have done differently starting off would be to scale my lead system faster. You see, in final expense, that's my product du jour, it's a business of scale. You don't have to develop some master sales system that's totally unique and different to maximize your sales. It can't hurt. But all you need to do is just, be good enough, and then start scaling your lead flow from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, 60 to 100 and beyond. I scaled up big time in my lead flow, really starting about 4 to 5 years in. And what I teach agents now to do is as they start to develop a mastery, or at least an initial proficiency of this business in the first 6 to 12 months, is to aggressively encourage them to scale up in order to increase their income. I thoroughly believe the beauty of final expenses, you don't have to be this like master, like a black belt to make a lot of money. You just need to be good enough. And when you've achieved good enough, which we would call proficiency, the next levels of your income success don't come from becoming, how do you close from a 25% conversion rate to a 35% conversion rate? It comes from running 10 appointments a week to 30 appointments a week. That's how you scale your income. And that's a lot more achievable for a lot more people than it is to get to be like the upper crust 1% people who are the best at this business. So don't feel like you have to be an absolute master to be anything successful in the business. You don't have to. You just have to scale your income, or to scale your income, you have to scale your activity. And you do that by scaling your lead flow up and running more appointments. And had I realized that earlier on, I think I would have made a lot more money sooner. Number 3, and I kind of did this already because I'm kind of cheap by default, as my wife will tell you, it's to live meagerly. I kind of added this in not for my sake, because I'm kind of a cheap person in some sense. Not like cheap as in a cheap person, but I just live meagerly. I'm really adding this in for your sake. There's a lot of people that don't understand that when you run a sales business and you're on a straight commission, you're running a sales business. It's all on your dime. And the last thing that you want to do is live high on the hog, because when there's good times, but sometimes you're going to go through bad times. And the worst thing you can do is not have enough money to work through the bad times. The best advice I could give you is to save as much money as physically possible so that when the bad times come, you can weather them. And there's a certain level of personal confidence that comes from this business anyway, is that as you accumulate money and wealth, and you start to have a bigger and larger bankroll, it seems like you can more easily survive the hard times. So you want to aggressively move to that direction. Now, you don't want to be cheap when it comes to working leads. You want to know where to invest your money and be confident with it, because investing in lead flow is investing in your income. You've got the skill set, hopefully, as an intermediate agent to consistently pull money out of those leads. So that's a good investment. But you don't want to blow your money on expensive cars, buying a house that's too big, doing things that just aren't absolutely necessary. You need to pay the price early by sacrificing that stuff and develop yourself a bankroll that will run you through the hard times if they do come, and they often do. Number 4, move to passive income streams much sooner into your career. So one of the beauties of selling insurance is you can actually develop a passive source of income. Now, I primarily do this in my business through my agency. I have other agents selling insurance for me, as you guys know. But for those of you who don't want to get into the adult babysitting business, as I jokingly refer it to, you may want to consider selling something like property and casualty, but I think better, Medicare. Medicare is a hand-in-glove type of product. All of our clients who sell final expense to have Medicare, and many of them can be better helped than what their current plan allows. So what I teach my agents is once you've established sustainability in the 6 to 12 month period of time of gearing up, highly consider cross-selling Medicare to your former leads and to your current clients, and then continue to cross-sell to the leads that continue to come in. And I think what you're going to find is that not only are you going to build a first-year income from your final expense sales, but you're also going to build that very important renewal-based income. You're literally going to get paid money by effort you did in the past, not effort you did yesterday or today. And that is a powerful thing that as you build more and more up throughout your life, you're going to make money, significant money, that you don't necessarily have to go out and work for because you already did the work. You just have to service the client, which is very minimal in Medicare anyway. And this was when this business got exceedingly fun. When we were in a position to take a month off like we did a couple years ago and go to Canada on vacation. It was great. I got paid money off of my agency's production. So if you're an agent, if I was an agent and couldn't build an agency, this is what I would have done. Going back, I would have definitely gotten a Medicare probably about the 6 month to 12 month mark. and really would have put a lot more effort into building out the Medicare side so I can build out the passive renewal income side, because now that I know what it's like, it's really cool. And I really think all agents, especially final expense agents, should be actively looking to move that direction as they start to master the final expense business. The last thing I'd suggest to new agents that are coming on that I wish I would have done differently is I wish I would have taken more serious tracking my leads and my clients' information so I could go back and sell them more coverage. This kind of suggestion to myself, if I could do it all over again, I think would bear very well for me to get in front of those clients again to sell them Medicare plans. I mean, I think of all the leads that I have and all the policies that I've sold, I really haven't done a big time effort to go back to those and continue to sell them more insurance, extract referrals out of them, and certainly cross-sell new products like Medicare. Your current client list that you sold and even your leads are a great source of more business, okay? It's foolish just to look at them as a one-off opportunity. What you should be thinking of is that they're a continual flow of new sales opportunities if you continue to stay in front of them. So grab yourself a cheap CRM, onepagecrm.com. Zoho is also good, and just track your clients and your leads. And as you get up and running, and you always have somebody you can go back and call on, add more coverage, extract referrals from, and cross-sell to. And it's very simple to do that. It's not complicated, but it's highly worth it. So that's what I would do differently if I had to start the insurance sales business all over again. Again, I'll recap again. Number one, find my focus and then put blinders on. Don't get distracted by all the great opportunities out there. Just know that it's hard enough to get good at one thing, and getting good at one thing requires your absolute 100% focus and attention. Number two, live meagerly. Number three, scale up faster, buy more leads, do more activity. Don't spend a lot of money, like I said, as far as living meagerly. Number four, make sure that you move into passive income streams faster. That's something I wish I would have done earlier, especially if I couldn't have gotten agency building. And number five, make sure to track my clientele and lead information a little bit more closely so I could cross-sell a little more effectively. I hope you enjoyed this educational video on what I would have done differently had I had to start the insurance sales business over again. If you like this video, please thumbs it up, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll be happy to reply below, and check out my agency above and below for more info and details and joining. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time, y'all. Take care.